So I'm currently dealing with a very weird, unexpected side effect of my husband having an affair with my brother's wife. For context, if you're new here, my husband had an affair with my brother's wife. He left me to be with her. They currently live together. It's a whole thing. Very dramatic. My husband also stole over $5,000 from me and then called to have my power and my gas shut off when I told the internet that he had an affair and stole $5,000 from me. So you're caught up now. And I want to know from other women who have been cheated on if you have dealt with this, because I find what's happening right now to be wildly unhinged. And so I just need to know if this is common or if this is a unique group of shitty people that I'm dealing with. I don't know. Also, real quick before we jump into it, because I'm sick of people thinking I made this up, this is my husband and my brother's wife. They are dating. I am still married to my husband and my brother is still married to his wife and they are dating. Okay, so basically what's happening is me and my husband did have a group of mutual friends that we played Dungeons and Dragons with. And I thought these people were like my friends, like that they cared about me. We were in a campaign for like 8 years together that I only recently pulled out of because of my husband having an affair. So I couldn't play with him anymore. So these were people that I'm like, okay, they care about me as a person. I've spent weekends with them. We've had so many game days and all this stuff. Like these people are my people. Like they're nice. They're good people. I like. So I at least kind of assumed that when all this happened, that they'd at least check on me. They'd be like, whoa, are you okay? I can't believe this happened. Like I assume, I don't expect people to immediately jump to a side and be like, oh, what he did was awful. Like we hate him now or whatever. But like, they do know what happened. They are aware that he had an affair and that he's currently with her. They are aware that he stole that money. I don't know if they were aware about the gas and the power because I'm sure he's not running around telling people about the horrible shit he's doing. But like they were aware at least that he stole this money and that he had an affair. And they just weren't. They were just keeping their distance from me and they were still hanging out with him. And I found that to be odd. So this is where I need to know if this is a common thing. Because I found out today through asking some questions that the reason that this friend group is standing by him and icing me out, like anytime I try to contact them, they don't respond, all this stuff, is because I talked about this on the internet. So essentially the thought process there is we can excuse an affair. We can excuse stealing over $5,000. We can excuse shutting off your power. We can excuse all of that. We can excuse that. But you going on to TikTok and telling people that he did that stuff, you're sick in the head. You're gross, you're mean, and you need to fix your behavior. His behavior, completely acceptable. We're good with that. He's a great guy. He's actually a great guy. We don't care that he had an affair. We don't care that he stole money. We don't care any of that. We do care that you're telling people that he did that stuff though, because it makes him look bad. And that's not okay, Caitlin. So that's why none of us are your friend anymore. So like, is this common? I know it is common for when a woman reacts to something that happens to her, that we will get in trouble for our reaction and people will kind of skip over the thing that happened, right? It'll be like, you hit me with your car. And it's like, I can't believe she's yelling at you. What a loud woman who yells. It's like, well, he hit me with his car. So, that happens a lot. I do understand that that's kind of like a common thing, but like, is it common with affairs that people will just side with the person who had the affair because the person who was cheated on is upset and they find that them being upset is like a turnoff? Because essentially that's what it is. They're mad that I'm angry. They're mad that I seem like hateful towards him. Surprise. Yeah, I hate him. He cheated on me with my brother's wife, a woman who is, I'm going to not say stuff. So yeah, I'm mad. I'm not allowed to be mad. That's why people are not my friend anymore, is because I got mad that my husband had an affair and then I told people he had an affair. And that makes me the bad guy. Is this a thing that happens? If it is, we need to start a club, because the gaslighting happening right now to tell me that I'm the bad guy because I told, well, you're a tattletale. So actually, are we three? Can we not hold a man accountable for not being able to keep his dick in his pants, please? Can we keep a man accountable for not trying to make his wife homeless? Can we not hold a man accountable for trying to turn off the power at her apartment because he's mad that people found out he had an affair? Can we not hold that guy accountable? Why are y'all cool with that and not cool with me? That's crazy. I'm going to be honest. Crazy work. The mental gymnastics to think you're on the right side of this fight is wild. And I will be completely honest. I truly think it's because they are cowards and they want to keep playing D&D. And when we first split up, it was more amicable because I didn't know about the affair. And so I just bowed out of the D&D campaign and he stayed in it. And I think they're kind of at this point like, well, if he leaves the D&D campaign, the whole thing's going to, like, there's so many people have dropped out, we won't be able to finish it. And so instead of being a decent person, they're just wiping his horrible behavior under the rug so they can keep playing D&D and having board game nights. Y'all, I love a board game night too, but like, come on, have like an ounce of moral backbone. Anyway, I just need to know if this is common. And I'm not throwing their names out here. I'm not throwing these people under the bus. They don't matter that much. They're just old D&D friends that I think are being shitty right now. And I needed to like vent about it. I'm not out here trying to slander these people. Like, I think they're good people. I think they're just being incredibly stupid. And like, they're probably also being manipulated by Ellen, who is a narcissist and a therapist. And so she thinks she's a relationship therapist, by the way. Isn't that a funny irony that the woman having an affair with her husband's sister's husband, she's a relationship therapist? That's weird. Don't you think that's weird? Anyway, she's a very manipulative person. She's very good at playing the victim and making people think she is like, I don't know. I've lived it. I used to think the same thing. And now coming out the other side, I'm very aware of how manipulative person she is. So I get that they're being manipulated by her. I get that they want the easier path. I live in LA and George is there, so it's easy for them to just write me off and support him. I get that it's easy, but it's cowardly and it's shitty. And if this is how friend groups react commonly to this shit, genuinely, we need a support group. I'll start it. Let's start meetings.
Okay, we are starting strong with what I like to call the cowardice of comfort. So let me get this straight. Her husband cheats with her brother's wife, which is already Game of Thrones level messy, steals $5,000, shuts off her utilities, and the friend group is mad at her for talking about it? This is a classic case of people choosing peace over justice. They don't want to lose their Dungeons & Dragons campaign, so they'd rather gaslight the victim than hold the villain accountable. It's wild how people will excuse moral bankruptcy just so they don't have to reschedule board game night. We can excuse stealing, but we draw the line at you telling people about the stealing. That logic is terrifying. Speaking of logic going out the window when emotions run high, let's look at what happens when you're the one left picking up the pieces.
Okay, I'm gonna do another get ready with me, but this time I'm gonna talk and just kind of rant. I know I look like a mess. It's currently 2 o'clock. I went to bed at 6 a.m. I'm not really going to go too in depth about why me and him broke up, but let's just say I should have done it a lot sooner. I'm a super forgiving person. That, it's literally like broken my heart, and I don't think I'll ever be the same person again. Just honestly feel so bad for the next person that I find in my life to date, because now I have to deal with like all the trauma I endured from him and all the trust issues. And don't get me wrong, like, we totally have good moments. Like, it was a 4-year relationship. Like, that was supposed to be the guy that I married. Like, he just bought me a camera and stuff. And we're talking about how I can't wait to film our kids on it, you know, like coming down on Christmas Day, opening up presents. But it's day 2, and I literally feel it so alone. I know people say don't do it because it's not good for you, but I did go through his following last night, and I saw that he followed 2 girls I was kind of insecure about during a relationship, and then he like went on like a spree, he literally just went and followed a bunch of girls, and it wasn't even 24 hours after. I'm trying to just focus on myself, so I haven't, I haven't even thought to talk to another guy just yet. Like obviously one day I know I'm going to, but I'm just not in the right headspace, and it was a 4-year relationship. Like, it's not like my love for him just ended like that. Like, I still have so much love for him. And like sitting in my bed last night, seeing that, crying, and I don't understand the psychology behind this, but all I wanted was for him to be in the bed with me and hugging me and telling me it's gonna be okay. Why do I want to be comforted by him when he's the one who's hurting me the most? And I think, so I had broken up with him once before this, and this was a couple months ago that I broke up with him because he did do something that definitely required breaking up. I'm just a forgiving soul, so I knew like I was probably gonna end up back with him, and think what makes this breakup so much worse is because I know it's real. The last time I broke up with him, he did everything he could get me back. He was sending me flowers in the mail. He was writing to me. He was finding different ways to reach out to me. It's like I don't even want to look at other girls. I don't want to follow other girls. Like I literally just want to focus on getting you back. We were broken up for around a month, and he never liked another girl's post because the social medias at the time still. This time, I've literally never been more shocked in my life. Like when I was going through his following, I did not expect to see any girls. Like I had high expectations for him. It's just, I know he really is just a lustful loser at the end of the day. It's like the man I was just talking about my wedding with literally 2 weeks ago is already trying to move on. I'm so lonely, so of course this is all I'm going to be thinking about, right? Because this is all I really have going on in my life right now, and so I have no distractions. So of course, like I'm going to keep an eye on him. Obviously, no, when you break up with somebody, like they'll move on at some point, but you never prepare yourself for that moment, and you never expect it to be so soon. Never thought that would be him, like that he would stoop so low. And I don't know if he's just doing, because he knows that I watch that stuff, so I know he probably is just doing it to hurt me. And it worked. Much like he knows I'm in such a low place. Like I literally told him. I will say the one thing that did make me happy though is all those girls that he followed, literally 2 out of I don't even know how many, only followed him back, and that's because they followed him in the first place. I'm gonna be one of those girls who hate on a girl over a guy. Like in everything that I did for him, like no girl will ever be able to compete with that, because I was literally with him at his lowest moments. I supported him through his lowest moments, and I helped him, and I did my most. I put myself aside and always put him first. No matter what I was going through and what I was dealing with, it was always him. I feel so alone. Like I literally have no. I pray that the man that I find fills all of my needs and not just something that loves me fully without having to be hurt at the same time, because this relationship there really was love, okay? But the fact that I had to endure so much hurt and trauma during the relationship as well, it shouldn't even be equal. Like hurt and love should be equal in a relationship, and the hurt definitely should be more than the love. And that's what all I started to feel was like hurt more than love. Like, you know, and I don't want my future kids to see a relationship of conflict in my home all the time. I don't want that to be the relationship they look up to. Like, I don't want them to think that it's normal to fight with their partner every day. I don't want them to think it's normal for their mom to have their guard up about their own like husband. It's just not what I want, because I grew up in a house like that. I'm like also silently crying because I haven't told any of my family about the breakup, because they all love him so much. But it's so hard to feel pretty after seeing him follow girls right away. Like I literally feel so disgusting. I did not do my hair back, and then I put on this little outfit. This is garage, and this wrap is brandy. But I'm going to try and film myself every single day, like kind of getting ready. Just because I feel so alone in this kind of house, and I feel like I'm talking to somebody. Like I'm basically treating this as like talking to a friend. So many influencers talk about, you know, like a breakup, and like the next day out partying, and I just feel like that's realistic. And I feel like in reality you're just really depressed like the first couple weeks, months, or even like a year. You know, like everybody's healing time is so different, but everybody still has to go through that process, you know. And I just want to kind of take you guys on my journey and show you, like, I don't know, just talk about how I feel and show you how really sad a breakup can be and how people underestimate it. So yeah, bye.
Oh, honey, I felt this in my chest. You know that specific pain when you realize the person you were planning a wedding with is just a guy? Just a regular, flawed guy scrolling Instagram? It's brutal. She's spiraling because she's looking for logic in grief, but grief isn't logical. He's following random girls not because he's moved on, but because he's distracting himself. But hearing her say she feels disgusting because of his actions, that breaks my heart. Ladies, gentlemen, listen to me. Someone else's lack of loyalty is not a reflection of your worth. Don't let his algorithm define your self-esteem. And look, sometimes we try to bounce back too fast. We try to put ourselves out there and, well, it gets awkward.
Story time of me sliding into a man's DMs. I was in a 12-year relationship, and the day after I broke up with him, I went to a comedy show with two of my best friends. Both those friends are guys. And one of the comics is like cute. Obviously, I thought he was really funny. And I'm like whispering to my guy friends, and I'm like, wait, this guy's kind of hot. And they're like, well, you're single now, so. And I'm like, no, there's no way that I could do anything with this guy. What are you talking about? There's a lot of features that he has that I'm attracted to. When the show's over, we go out to a bar, and I keep talking about that guy, and they're like, oh my God, Jez, just like DM him then. And I said, oh my God, what an idea. So I find this man's Instagram, I look him up, and so I DM him, and I'm like, hey, I saw your show tonight, I thought you were really funny and cute. Okay, Jazz, day 1 of being single, shooting her shot. Whatever, then put my phone away, I'm out with my friends. I get home, I check to see if he DM'd me back. He did. He responds, he goes, "You're cute too. Where do you live? Are we hooking up tonight? Are we hooking up tonight, sir?" I'm new to this whole thing, so I tell him where I live like a dummy. I obviously don't tell him my exact coordinates, my exact location, but I tell him, at the time I was living in downtown LA, and I said, "Oh, I live in downtown. Where do you live?" He's like, and then I don't respond to that because I'm kind of just like, okay, I'm not gonna like meet up with you tonight. Like that's not gonna happen. So I go to sleep. Then like 2 nights later, I get a DM from him at like a late hour. He's like, "What are you doing right now?" And I'm like, oh, this man would be down. Like this man would be down to do something. I was freshly single out of a 12-year relationship. I was also, at that point, I was like 25. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I never responded to him. And then that ended, right? Wednesday night, I'm out with my friends. I'm with one of my same friends that I was with that night. I'm talking to him, and somehow we just bring up sliding into people's DMs. And he goes, "Yeah, remember when you like slid into that like comics?" And I was like, oh my God, I forgot about him. And then I searched him up and I click on his profile and there's all our DMs. I see our messages and I'm like, I'm gonna DM him again. And so I DM him and I go, "Hey, miss you." He responds. He hearts the message and he responds. I also said, like, I was just talking to my friends about this exchange and laughing, "miss you." And he hearts the message and he goes, "Haha, nice. Are you still in LA?" And I just didn't respond because please. Clearly this man is just down to do anything with anyone, it seems. Cheers. Perfected this recipe. Oh, so good. Anyway, it's Friday. Thank God. It's been kind of a long week. I feel tired. Goodbye.
Okay, this is the canon event of being freshly single. You see a cute comedian, your friends hype you up, you slide into the DMs, and immediately get hit with, "Are we hooking up tonight?" The whiplash. It's funny, but it's also just exhausting. You go from a 12-year relationship where you know everything about a person to the wild west of modern dating, where hello apparently translates to send location. I love that she ghosted him, re-engaged, and then ghosted him again. Sometimes you just need to remind yourself that you can flirt, even if the options are lackluster. But at least that guy just sent a bad text. What happens when the disrespect gets physical?
So a couple weeks ago, I decided I wanted to go get Japanese barbecue. That's probably my favorite food, like my favorite restaurant food, like Japanese barbecue. Yukaku, like if they only have one customer, just know it's me, right? So I texted my homegirl and my homeboy, their brother and sister, and I was like, "I'm going to Japanese barbecue around 7 if any of y'all want to pull up." They both ended up pulling up. Whatever, it was a great time. And like me and her, we go often, we does this, like we already know what's up, right? But her brother, like he's also my friend. Like at one point in time we were real like close friends, like we were best friends, but like I would have said like at that moment in time we were good friends still. I don't think we were best friends, but we were good friends. Like that's my friend. He's not just her brother, that's my friend, you know? Mind you, he and I mean, me and them, the whole thing, like the whole siblings, all the siblings, we've been friends or we've known each other since before 2012. That's more than half of my life. I'm 26. 2012 was 14 years ago. So that's more than half my life that I've known them. And I only use 2012 as a reference because that's when my mom passed away. And I knew them at the time that my mom passed away. They met my mom. It's a small percent of the world who can say they've met my mom, you know? So that's why I use 2012 as a reference. But realistically, we probably met in 2010, if I'm being honest. So 16, is that 16? Yeah, 16 years of friendship, knowing each other, whatever the case may be. It all came to an end. It all came to an end. And I'm standing on business behind this one, right? So yeah, fast forward, we're eating or whatever, and he just looks miserable. But like, I'm not really taking it to heart. Now, again, this is my favorite restaurant. So like seeing somebody not enjoying my favorite restaurant, it really does hurt. But like, I can't be arsed. Like I'm having a jolly good old time. Like I would have went by myself regardless if nobody would have went with me, right? So, you know, I keep teasing him throughout the night. I'm like, bruh, fix your face. Like, you don't look happy to be here, yada, yada, yada. Whatever. Fast forward, end of the night comes, and he was also like my handyman, right? Like, I would always call him to like help me out if I needed something to build. I mean, he was a man. Do what men do, like build. Yes, correct. So, sometime throughout the night, they were like, okay, we're gonna go back to Nadia's house because I had these floating shelves I want him to put up for me. And so I was like, okay, so everybody was gonna come back to my house. We leave the restaurant, we're in the parking lot and stuff. And I don't even know, we were just like messing around, like, you know, nothing too crazy. And then like he was like pretending to push me off like the sidewalk, you know, whatever. And I was like, oh, you push me off the sidewalk, like I'll show you, whatever the case may be. So then I put his sister in like a fake headlock. Again, we're just joking, like we're literally just joking. And so then he comes to put me in a headlock for putting his sister in a headlock, and immediately I was like, okay, game's over, like game's over. My wig is not glued down, like game over. And so he was like, oh, okay, bet, like, all right, your wig's not glued down, like, all right, bet. He quits trying to put me in a headlock or whatever, turns around, comes and snatches my wig off in the middle of the Japanese barbecue parking lot. I'm talking about, it's like 9 p.m. in Midtown in Houston, and he snatched my wig off. I'm talking about wig on the floor, on the bare cement, $800 worth of bundles and closure on the bare cement. After I just told you that don't put me in a headlock, my wig is not glued down. If the wig would have came off during the headlock, okay, you feel me? I put your sister in the headlock, we was joking, okay. But the fact that I told you my wig was not glued down, you said okay, and then doubled back and ripped the wig off, he's so lucky I didn't steal up on him in that moment. Like, he literally ripped it off and then took off running. And I was like, there's just no way. And I literally told him in his face, I said, I would never speak to you again. He said, that's fine, that's fine. Then I said, I picked my wig up off the floor, bald headed. I'm talking about freedom braids, a wig cap sitting back here, like, not necessarily embarrassed, but like an embarrassing thing just happened. Like, my homeboy just ripped my wig off, you feel me, and is laughing in my face. I just told you I would never fuck with you again, and you're continuing to laugh in my face. I get in the car, turn the car on, I'm finna pull off. He's knocking on my window like, oh, so am I going to your house? Am I going to your house? Like, am I putting up the shelves? Nigga, if you go even within 15 thoughts of my house, I will beat the fuck out of you. You've never seen this woman scorned, okay? Like, what do you mean, are you going to my house? No, I don't care if I have to put the shelf on my head. You will never step foot in my house again, okay? Now, I already knew after that, like, I would never speak to him again, but I did expect him to apologize. Days go by, no apology, no nothing, radio silence. And then his sister ended up calling me. Mind you, I'm not beefing with the sister. I was beefing with the sister until I spoke to her. She almost got cut off right with her brother. But she was like, I had no idea what even happened. Like, all I know is I turned around, your wig was on the floor. I assumed it came off in a scuffle. Like, I didn't know he ripped it off. And I told her, I said, okay. I said, well, thanks for clarifying, because you show was finna get cut off too. Because, like, for me, my first instinct might have been to laugh. But as soon as I would have, like, registered what's going on, my homegirl's wig on the floor at the hands of my brother, like, I would have went off of my brother. But like she said, she only turned around, the wig was off, so she didn't see what happened. So yeah, so I told her, she was like, oh, I'm finna call him. And I was like, don't call him. Like, your brother's a grown-ass man. This is a 28, 29-year-old man. Your brother's a grown-ass man. Like, if he wanted to call me and apologize, he could have called and apologized. Anyways, get off the phone with her. I don't end up cutting her off. And he texts me, let me read you this piss poor, sorry-ass excuse for an apology. And I already know, like, he only apologized because she said something, because as an adult grown man, you would have apologized that same day. I mean, that same day. Let me read you this piss poor, pathetic excuse of an apology. And actually, this is the first time me even reading this full message. I read like the first line and was instantly just pissed the hell off. And then on top of that, your sister had to call you and tell you to apologize to me. Yeah, you're a grown ass man. You will never hear from me again in this life, ever again. He said, and I quote, hi, I would like to apologize for the way things ended when we last hung out at the Japanese barbecue place. I shouldn't have pulled your wig off, and when I did, should have called and apologized. But by the way you drove off, you were still upset and wanted to let things settle. Who wouldn't be upset? Who wouldn't be upset? I would like to probably make it up to you for my childish behavior. Please let me know if there's anything you can do if there's anything I can do to make it up to you. If not, I completely understand. You can lick my balls. The day you can lick my balls, me, a woman at birth, the day you can lick my balls is the day that I can forgive you.
Oh, absolutely not. The moment a hand touches the wig, it is war. This isn't just a prank. This is humiliation. He ripped off her wig, her expensive installation, in a public parking lot, laughed about it, and then had the audacity to text, "You can lick my balls?" That is not a friend. That is a person who enjoys belittling you. The fact that he doubled down instead of apologizing shows he doesn't respect her autonomy or her property. And shout out to her for standing on business. You will never step foot in my house again. Correct. Boundaries set, access denied. Now, dealing with disrespectful friends is one thing. Dealing with incompetent employees, that's a whole different type of patience.
Today we had an employee come from a different store to come work a shift at our store. And I think this might be the worst employee I have ever met in my life. First things first, before she gets there, there's no one to lead the shift. I'm a low-level employee. It's me, the girl who's worked here for 2 months, and then this other girl that I've never met before. Perfect. Why am I here? Perfect. I checked the clipboard in the back, right? And it says this girl's a minor. I'm like, oh, that's weird, because minors aren't supposed to take shifts at other stores, just against policy. I'm like, how funky is that? Anyway, fast forward, girl comes in, so nice, so beautiful. She smelled so good. This girl immediately starts telling me and my coworker about how she is yelled at her store. She's always being picked on, always being told what to do, being treated unfairly. My coworker and I are like, damn, like that sucks. Yeah, sometimes they're just, petty coworkers and stuff. Whatever, don't let it get to you. This is foreshadowing. So I'm like the imaginary leader, right? Blind leading the goddamn blind. So I'm like, why don't you go over to the area where we make drinks, milkshakes, stuff like that? Go over there. Do that. This girl said she's been working here for 5 months. I'm like, okay, that's something. Because sometimes we get people to come and work who have worked for the company for like 2 weeks, and that's a different story. I'm like, great, this girl knows what's going on. So I put her over in that area, right? Immediately, I'm noticing. So she made herself a drink, right? But she did not ring up in the register. And she just has it in the middle of all of these open containers of like other people's drinks, milks, waters, everything out in the open. I go over, I'm like, hey, would you mind just real quick running that to the back so it's not like, fucking touching other people's shit that they paid for? She goes, oh, no worries. Full cup of liquid, okay? Fucking Kobe over the top, over the room into the trash can. Right? I'm like, okay. So I'm out of the corner of my eye. I start noticing this girl's doing laps, right? She's like walking in circles over in this area. And so finally I notice and I'm like, hey, like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? She'll be like, oh, where are the cups? Okay. I'm like, you know what? It's fine. She's never been in this store before. The cups are literally right in front of her fucking eyes. It's fine. She's never been here. Our store is old and small and it's a lot different than other stores. I get it. Totally fine. She then does this 3 more times. Okay. I'm like, you know what? She's making all the drinks incorrectly. I'm just going to switch her. So I go over to my coworker and I'm like, hey, I'm going to switch you guys. She's not doing too hot over there. Let's just switch it up, right? She's on register. She starts taking orders and then not making anything. Like, I don't know if she's throwing the stickers out, but after like 30 minutes, there's like a mob of people down at the end. And they're like, hey, I placed an order for like 5 items and I didn't get any of them. So now my coworker and I are checking the system and we're like, oh my God, like, they're all in there. You didn't get any of this? And they're like, no. Okay. So I put her to go make sandwiches. Make sandwiches, cut sandwiches, throw them in the oven. Do your thing, girl. Really, really get in there, right? I put her over there. I look back again. The counter is covered with like stickers and fucking bags and receipt paper, parchment paper. It's the counter. You cannot see the counter underneath all the things. I'm like, she's like, it's like a toddler. I'm like, how did you have time to do all that? Mind you, she's not cleaning up any messes. So after she left the drink area, I was like, yeah, make sure that it's all cleaned up, wiped up, everything's put back. There's like fully spilled containers of liquid all over the counter. There's all different sorts of containers and lids on the floor. I'm like, I had you over there for fucking 45 minutes. Fine. I'm like, can you do me a favor? Can you go and clean the bathrooms for me? And this is the first time I have ever experienced the Gen Z stare, because she stares at me like this for 10 full seconds and then goes, I actually have a fear of bathrooms and toilets. So if you have me clean the bathrooms, I'm just going to wipe down the mirror. So I will do literally anything else to my face. She said, bro, this is an agreed upon part of the job that you sought out, you asked for, you applied for, you agreed to, you start going to, and you're getting paid for. You're gonna look me dead in my fucking eyes and tell me you're not gonna clean. You have fear of the bathroom? Mind you, it's the Chicago winter. What are you, shitting outside? I'm like, okay, okay. I'm like, have you cleaned an oven before? She goes, yes. I'm like, great. So she opens up the oven, right? And she sees like the big, like, it's like a tray we put in there. She sees the tray and she goes, what do I do with this? I said, well, you got to take it out and you clean it. I'm like, you could just go ahead and take it out, put it in the back sink, and then I'll show you how to clean it. If you don't already know how to clean it. Because I had a feeling she didn't know how to clean it. She did not know how to clean it. So she takes the tray out and she puts the hot tray down on the fucking counter, looks at me and goes, is this where you wanted me to put it? I'm blind at this point. I'm blind and deaf. I'm fighting for my fucking life. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? You can imagine this goes on for another 30 minutes. So what I've gathered is that she's never worked a day here in her fucking life. I'm convinced she walked off the street, okay? Until I decided to go talk to my boss. I'm like, hey, like, we can't ever have her come back here. Like, she's not even supposed to be here in the first place. And I tell him everything that happened, including, like, you know, just not, like, your refusal to do the job that you're currently being paid for, right? So we're talking about it. I sense someone in the lobby with their listening ear, okay? I'm like seeing someone out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, that's weird. Like, why are you looking over here so much? It's her mom. Her mom drives her to every shift, stays the entire time, and then drives her home. Love a supportive mom, okay? We have rules in place for things like people having friends or their like boyfriend, girlfriend, their partners staying for the entire duration of their shift. And now I'm recalling back earlier to a memory in one of my mystery Mouska tools that this girl had told me that her mom before had like been policing people at her store. Her mom is there policing other employees about how to treat her while she's on the clock. So the mom didn't say anything to me. I know she heard it all. But I wasn't mean. I was just like, hey, this girl can't work here again. Like, here's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K reasons why she can't. Anyway, we get another employee to come in, okay? So then my boss goes up to the girl and is like, hey, we got someone to come in. Feel free to go, you know, just take it easy, right? Because he's like, I want to get her the fuck out of here so she never comes back. And she goes, oh, no, it's fine. My mom's sitting in the lobby, so I'm just going to stay for my full shift. We get a call from her later this evening. She goes, did I leave my AirPods there? And my coworker is like, no, I checked the back. Like, they're not here. She's like, maybe I left them out where, like, we make, like, the drinks. Like, are they there? In what world? In what, like, I get that she doesn't clean shit. We do. If we saw fucking, anyway, I, at this point, would normally say something like, I'm sure she'll be great at another job. I don't think she's ready. She's very sweet. I think someday she'll be ready for this kind of thing. I never want to see her again. I never want to see her again. She's such a nice girl. I do not ever show your face to me again, please.
I have a fear of bathrooms. I have no words. Look, I'm all for mental health awareness, but if you apply for a job at a coffee shop, cleaning is in the job description. You can't just wipe the mirror and call it a day. This story is a masterclass in weaponized incompetence. She's throwing full cups of liquid in the trash, putting hot trays on the counter, and her mom is in the lobby acting as security. This feels like a skit, but anyone who has worked in retail knows this is painfully real. The Gen Z stare is a lethal weapon. Okay, that was a disaster, but at least nobody got arrested. This next story, well, the police definitely got involved.
Get ready with me while I tell you about the day I went to jail and then went to prison. I had already committed my crime. This was like months after I committed my crime. Well, I was wanted for a long time. I was secretly indicted on my charges. So for months, I was riding around in my friend's trunk of their vehicle. I was so paranoid. I was like, I'm cooked. The day that I finally got arrested and went to jail for what I was going to prison for, I had tried to rob the person that I robbed and was going to prison for. Part 5. Like, I robbed him so many times. Again, he was a POS. Literally. Don't care. So I was trying to rob him again. I had took him for all of his stuff. Even his vehicle, his money, his everything, okay? That was all. I'm in a hotel with him, falls asleep on the bed. The door's kind of cracked. His car is running. He left the keys in his car. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of set yourself up for... I'm literally wanted to go to prison for robbing him before. So I'm like, stop, wait a minute. Then this guy walks up and I know him and he's like a chronic robber. He gets in the car and I was like, I'm scared. I don't want to take off, but he's asleep. And he's like, scoot over, let's go. I'll drive then. We drive off. Then we're driving and he's on the phone. Yep. No, I got her. Yeah. The man I was trying to rob was on the phone. And he's like, yep, I'm bringing her back to you. I was all... You tried. As we pull up into the Motel 6 parking lot, I jump out of the car as it's going like 10 miles an hour. I'm running. This man had gotten a whole crew of people in the Motel 6 coming after me. So I'm running in the parking lot with his stuff. I'm all, there I am in the bush. I see his big man boots because this is like a 53-year-old, 54-year-old man. And he pulls me out of the bush by my hair. And he's actually beating my, on the main road. Like, I was like, a random car slams on her brakes and she's like, get off of her. And then he got scared, obviously, because he realized that the whole public world is watching him do this to me. I run for my life and I get in this random lady's car. She starts crying. She's crying for me because she's so sad. Please, can I help you? Let me take you to rehab. I'm beat up. I'm very visibly a drug addict. It's not good, you guys. I wish I could find her now. Get another hotel under someone else's name. This random guy at a random trailer park was like, let me help you, because that's where I had the lady take me. I'm literally in this hotel room by myself, you guys. I get this really scary feeling that the guy's gonna come back for me and I'm all alone. I then decide to hide underneath this like seat thing and boom, a key opens the door. They walk right past me. It's 2 men. Oh my God, they're maybe not gonna see me, you know what I mean? And then boom, I see the feet stop right by my head and and I hear police department step out and I was all, I crawl out like actually a psychopath, like Golem off of The Ring. I'm all like, we've been looking for you for a long time. And I'm all, knew I was going to prison. Like, I knew this wasn't like a book and release and jail type of situation. Me in handcuffs, I'm like, can you guys just let me walk down but not in handcuffs? And they're like, will you please not run? I'm all, I ain't running. They let me walk down to the car without handcuffs. I was begging them to take me to prison because jail is so bad. I was like, please get me out of here. So then I tell my dad that I'm going to prison. I'm on the phone with him and he's like, no, tell the judge that you can come to Wyoming. And I'm like, Dad, I don't think you're understanding. It's not a choice. My dad is bawling his eyes out and he's like, it's okay, Lace, we'll get through this together. I promise I'll be right here. It was so sad. Then I had court. The judge told me I was going to prison and she said, do you have anything to say about it? And I literally said this because I was nervous. I'm excited for my future. What? She was all, okay. They don't tell you when they're going to take you to prison because it's a security breach. So they randomly woke me up at like 4 a.m. Like, Spence, get up. I was all, yes! And that's when I got on the prison van and I met my husband. So grateful I don't live that life anymore. I'm glad I have almost 9 years clean and yikes, oh my God, I've lived 9 lives. I'm a cat. Meow. Love you guys. This is makeup. Love you.
This girl is living in a Grand Theft Auto server. The way she tells this story, I'm cooked, while hiding under a seat in a motel room, it's chaotic charisma. She's robbing the guy she already robbed again? It's a cycle of bad decisions, but there's something weirdly wholesome about her dad on the phone crying, we'll get through this. It's a reminder that addiction and crime are messy, but there are real humans behind the mugshots. Also, telling the judge, I'm excited for my future before going to prison, that is, honestly, kind of iconic optimism. We've laughed a bit, but I need us to shift gears completely now, because sometimes the people we trust the most are the ones who hold the weapon.
So part 7, when I was set up by my best friend to be unalived and shot 5 times while 18 weeks pregnant. So I'm on the operating table They done pumped me full of that good shit, y'all. And within seconds, I'm asleep. I'm knocked out. Meanwhile, outside, the hospital on swole, y'all. I'm talking about church on New Year's Eve swole. And if you've never been to church on New Year's Eve, first Friday at the club swole. And they got my family in a separate waiting area. But because nobody knows what happened to me, they just know that I was gunned down, you had to have a special code in order to get into this waiting area with my family. So now my family in this waiting area, and they going through it. My sisters and brothers crying, my daddy boo-hoo crying, my mama pacing, she praying, she on her hands and knees, begging the Lord, just spare my baby life and take mine instead. So by this time, they get a call, and my best friend has arrived, and they want to know if it's okay for them to give him the code and send him up. So without hesitation, y'all, my mama said, yes, give him the code, send him up, because that's my best friend. And when he come in the room, my mama instantly hug him. He crying, she just asking him like, what happened? Did you see anything? Where were you at? Like, she want to know some details, because at this point, nobody knows anything except that I was with him and my cousin. So y'all, this child of God told my people that he didn't know what happened. He didn't see what happened. All he know is that when he went inside the trailer, he heard the shots, and when he came back outside, I was gone. And while he over there talking to my mama, my daddy pulled my little sister to the side, and he tell her, listen, he did this to my baby. He know what happened. I don't know why, but in my heart, I know he know what happened, and I know he did it. So I'm in surgery for hours, y'all. And the surgeon come out to give my family their first update. So she tells my family that, right now we're doing everything that we can to save her life. The situation is serious and she is critical. We can't make you any promises, and we don't know if we would be able to save her. But if we do save her, we don't think that we would be able to save the baby. And if we save her, we don't know what her quality of life would be. So they let my family know that I'm going to need a health proxy, because over the next couple of days, some important decisions are going to have to be made. And my mama and my daddy, they both stressing that they just can't do it. They couldn't make them type of decisions. So my little sister stepped up and she said, I'll do it. I got her. So the doctor go back into surgery, and my family's still outside waiting. While they waiting, my sister goes around and she kind of tell everybody in my family, listen, daddy think that this nigga had something to do with it. So y'all pay attention to him, okay? And my best friend, he acting kind of weird, because when he off by himself, he cool, he chilling. But anytime anybody say anything to him, this nigga go to Keith Sweat, Johnny Gill, snot nose, crocodile, tear crying, y'all. I'm talking about putting on in that bitch for my people. So the doctor's fighting for my life. I'm fighting for my life. My family praying for my life. And this fuck nigga ain't here putting on. So after a couple hours passed, the doctor come out and she let my family know, hey, we've done everything that we could do for her up until this point. It's really up to her whether she makes it through the night. So I'm out of surgery, but they couldn't close me up because my body wasn't strong enough to finish some of the surgeries that they had to do. So they put me in an isolation room where nobody could come inside because my stomach was still open. They let my family know, hey, you guys can go home for the night. There's nothing else that we can do here. But my mama and daddy stressing we ain't leaving. We stand. But my little sister, she leaves. And when she leaves, she don't go home. She goes straight to the police department. So when she goes to the police department, she lets them know, hey, listen, my sister best friend was involved. You guys need to look into them. And then that's when the police began investigating my best friend. So over the next couple of days, I end up having 2 more surgeries. And when I'm finished with these surgeries, I end up on a ventilator because my lungs had collapsed. So now, every day, they're trying to wean me off this ventilator. But every time they try to take me off the ventilator, I'm not breathing on my own. So after a couple of days, they go to my family and they like, hey, listen, it's about time to make one of those tough decisions that we were talking about. Because we trying to take her off this ventilator and she's not breathing on her own and she can't stay on this ventilator forever. So maybe it's time for you guys to start making some type of arrangements. And my little sister is like, hell no, we ain't doing that. We gonna give her some time to fight. Her life ain't over yet. So while all this is going on, the police have started their investigation into my friend. So now they have obtained a search warrant for my best friend's home. And when they go to serve the search warrant on my best friend's home, they find all type of shit in his house, y'all. None of it was related to my shooting, but all of it was illegal. So Buddy got booked that day. He was on his way to the county. So now my best friend is booked and everybody's shocked. But my family is still focused on my survival. So it come a time where they like, okay, we need to take her off this ventilator. We've given her some time and you guys need to make a decision. So my mama, my sister, and my daddy sit down and they decide that they're going to take me off the ventilator. And if I make it, I make it. But if I don't, then that's all God's plan. So the day that they take me off the ventilator, it's my mama, my daddy, my sisters, my brother, and my godmama in the room. So they take the tube out my throat, y'all. And when they take the tube out my throat, I go to gasping for air. Like gasping. I'm pulling at the tubes. Like I'm in that bitch acting crazy. So they had to sedate me. So over the next couple of days, I'm heavily sedated, y'all. Because every time I come up out this sedation, I'm acting a fool. But while I'm heavily sedated, I keep asking for like pen and paper. I'm doing like this. And when they give me the pen and paper, I keep scribbling my homeboy name and the enforcer's name the best that I can on these papers. So my sister take these papers and she take them to the police department. And she's stressing, I don't know who this is, the enforcer, but you guys need to start looking into him too. So they start an investigation on the enforcer. So now because of my scribblings, the police are requesting that the hospital come down off the sedation because they need to talk to me. Because y'all, they was pumping me full of that good shit. I was loopy. I don't remember much of that time when I was on the sedation, but I remember bits and pieces. But I was totally out of it, y'all. So when I start to come up out the sedation, I can barely talk because I've had this tube in my throat for like a week or so now. But it's me, my mama, my daddy, and my sister in the room. And one of the first questions I have when I become coherent is, did my baby make it? And they was like, yeah, your baby made it. So I'm crying at this point. I'm crying. I'm thanking God. But y'all, while I'm sitting there, I'm realizing my body feels so weird. Like, what's wrong? I can't feel my legs, y'all. Like, I totally can't feel my left leg at all. But my right leg is like tingling, like it's asleep. Y'all, I'm paralyzed in my left leg. I can't feel nothing at all. And I'm going to cut it right there. And y'all got to come back for part 9. And this was a 10-minute video, guys.
This is horrifying. Shot 5 times while pregnant by her best friend. I have chills. The betrayal here is beyond comprehension. But what stands out to me isn't just the violence. It's the intuition of her family. Her dad knew. Her sister knew. The way the sister went straight to the police while the friend was fake crying in the hospital room, that is a level of protection that saved her life. And the fight in this woman, gasping for air, paralyzed, scribbling names on a piece of paper to get justice, That is the definition of a survivor. It's a miracle she is here to tell this story. After a story that heavy, we need to remember that not everyone is out to hurt us. Sometimes, strangers really do have our backs.
Oh my gosh, I just got on the bus and I went to sit next to this girl and I was like, sorry, can you move your bag? She's like, yeah, sorry. Moved it, so cute. And then my friend pointed out to me, he was like, oh, look at her, like, you know, she just moved her bag and now she's fast asleep, like she's literally sleeping with her book in her hands. And I woke her up and I'm like, babe, you need to put your stuff in your bag because you're falling asleep. She's like, oh, you're such a babe, thank you so much. And I'm like, no worries. And then like she started falling asleep again and I'm like, hun, where are you getting off? Because you're asleep basically. She's like, oh, I'm getting off like not far. She's getting off like 4 stops after me. So I'm like, okay, when it's my stop, I'm gonna wake you up to get off. She's like, okay, perfect. But she was proper like deep sleeping. So I'm like, actually, give me your number and then I'll ring you 5 minutes after I get off. She gives me her number. She's like, but my phone's dead. Go! Are you crazy? Slim, pretty, brunette, white girl. Are you insane? I was like, babe, I'm gonna have to stay on the bus with you. So I just walked her to her house, like got her in her front door. I've got her number and I sent her a text and then I just feel so happy because she's home safe. You know, as a woman, this video is for women, not men. I don't fucking post for men. If you're a man, get off my page, unless you're my brother. Get off my page now. Now! So yeah, being a woman is just really nice because like empathy and like caring and like all that stuff is something that you really appreciate. I'm not saying men don't, but I don't care about them. Ugh. It's ingrained into women and you're taught it from the time you're like fucking 3 months old. I was gonna say 3 years, but anyway, I feel really happy because if I hadn't done that, I'd be stressing, thinking, oh my God, did she get home safe? I'd be waiting for her to text me tomorrow morning. But I literally saw her get in her front door. Even then, sometimes you don't know when we'll be safe, but the way her front door's set up, I don't think someone could be waiting. So I'm just really happy, and I think it's really beautiful to be a woman. And men need to back off. Look at them. Look at them. Cretins, yuck.
See? This is the flip side. A complete stranger noticing a girl falling asleep and making sure she gets home safe. It's sweet. It's the girl code in action. Now, she takes a sharp turn at the end with the men are cretins rant, which, look, she's venting. You can feel that protective instinct overdrive. But the core action here, walking a vulnerable person to their front door just because you're worried, that is the humanity we need more of. It balances out the darkness we just saw. We've just watched a cross-section of human behavior that is honestly dizzying. If there is one thread pulling all these disparate stories together, it is the concept of accountability versus the bystander. Think about it. In our very first story, we had a group of friends, people who played Dungeons and Dragons, a game literally about heroes and morality, who chose to be bystanders in real life. They saw a husband destroy his wife's life, steal her money, and turn off her heat. And what did they do? They chose the path of least resistance. They prioritized their comfort and their game night over the moral imperative to stand by a victim. That is the banality of evil in a nutshell. It's not always a villain twirling a mustache. Sometimes it's just your friends ignoring your text because they don't want to pick sides. Then we juxtapose that with the story of the survivor. The stakes were infinitely higher, life and death. But look at the difference in the support system. Her sister didn't wait. She didn't hesitate. She didn't worry about making things awkward with the best friend. She went to the police. She trusted her gut. That active protection is what separates a true ally from a fair-weather acquaintance. We see this theme of active protection again in the bus video. That woman didn't know the sleeping girl. She owed her nothing, but she saw vulnerability and she stepped into the gap. She became the safety net that the universe failed to provide in that moment. It's a stark contrast to the wig-snatching friend who saw vulnerability, a wig glued down, and chose to exploit it for a laugh. Ultimately, these stories force us to ask ourselves a hard question. When the chips are down, which character are we in the movie of someone else's life? Are we the Gen Z employee hiding in the bathroom, refusing to do the dirty work? Are we the D&D friends who turn a blind eye to keep the peace? Or are we the sister, the dad, and the stranger on the bus, the ones who see something wrong and refuse to look away? The world is full of rebound DMs and lustful losers, people who will treat you like an option or a joke. But it's also full of people who will fight for your life when you can't breathe on your own. The tragedy is that we often don't know who is who until the crisis hits. So look at your circle. Look at who stands up for you when you're not in the room. And more importantly, make sure you're that person for someone else. Because at the end of the day, we are all just walking each other home. Hopefully we get there safe. What do you guys think? Is loyalty dying, or are we just seeing the loud minority of bad friends? Let me know in the comments. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.